Hi Belinda, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. You've just come back off holiday.
Yeah, we went to Orlando for 3 weeks.
Was it good?
Oh yeah, we did Disney and I went to Hogwarts. My daughter was just in awe of everything. It was so excited.
Oh, how lovely.
I know, I don't want to come back.
You booked to go again?
No, it's too expensive. I've got to save some money before we can go back. I'd love to.
Oh, right, okay. Well, the purpose we're here today is obviously to do your 12-month review. You've been with us for 12 months now, and you have successfully passed your 3-month probation in this period. How do you think it's gone so far for you?
Well, it's been a little bit of an up and down journey. I really enjoyed the work, and I think I'm good at it. But I'm finding it difficult to settle into the team a little, even after 12 months. I sort of talk to them, but I'm not in the team, if that makes sense.
How do you feel that is?
I just feel like they're a lot younger than me, and I feel we've got not a lot in common, so it's quite difficult to find a common ground with them. So that's proving a little bit difficult, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there with it.
Because you recently had a grievance put in against you, didn't you? But that's all been resolved now, hasn't it? And everything's sort of calmed down.
Yes, it was a little bit six of one, half a dozen the other, and we've sort of talked and we've apologised and all of that, so it's all down.
So it's all sort of settled down a bit now. Okay, right. Okay, so you're aware of what your main objectives are within your role?
Yes, it's the picking and packing of customer orders and giving a good customer service and delivering them all undamaged.
And how do you feel you've done with that?
I actually think I do it really well. I'm quite organised, and I'm sort of like, now I've got to know where everything is. It's like really good to be able to do it. So yeah, I think I've done all right.
Okay.
I think I've hit my targets as well.
Yeah, well, I've printed that off here. We've got all your targets here. And as you can see, yes, you have met all your targets since you've been here. You've did particularly well sort of middle of the year, but it's kind of peaked, it's sort of dropped a little the last couple of months. You don't seem to have performed as well as you have done in the past. Is there anything that I should be aware of that I can help you with?
Well, my dad's been really ill.
Right.
And that's been quite a worry for me. And maybe I've lost concentration a little bit at times because I'm concerned. He's having a lot of treatment at the moment. And obviously I'm a sole carer. I'm like his only daughter, so I'm the sole person looking after him. There's no one else to look after him. So it's having a bit of an impact at home as well as on my work.
Right, okay.
So it's just, I think sometimes I lose a little bit of concentration because I'm worrying about things.
Right, so maybe we could look at putting something in place to help you with that, maybe a bit of counselling. How do you feel about that?
I have to think about it. I'm not sure. I'm not really that talkative type of person, and that's why I don't really mention it, because I'm quite private.
Right, okay.
But yeah, I mean, he's having treatment at the moment, and so obviously I'm conscious of making sure he's getting his treatment, getting to the hospital and stuff.
Perhaps we could maybe look at then some other training needs for you as well. Perhaps some team building days. You were saying about sort of not really interacting much with the other member of staff, so maybe we could sort of put together some team building days for the team. Get you interacting a bit more.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
But I think that's the issue, is because I am so private and they're all talking about everything they've done, what's going on in their world. I'm not like that.
Right, okay.
So it's about finding a happy balance. And that might do some good, but but my main priority will be my dad in the next couple of months.
But we will need to look at how we can sort of build up, because obviously, you know, I sort of hold a tight ship and I want to perform. I want us to be the best that we can be.
Yeah.
As a team, I want to be the best. And at the moment you are performing as the lowest within that team. So we need to look at some areas that we can build on that.
I'm sure I'm the lowest.
Yes, that's with the review that I've had from your line manager. Unfortunately, at the moment you were doing really well, and that's why I was wondering if obviously you say that your father's not been very well, so and perhaps that's why it's made you drop to the lowest. So we need to sort of address that and look at that and see how we could do. I've also looked at your attendance, and at the moment, overall, your absent days have been higher than the national average.
But I think if you look at that, you'll probably find that's in the last few months since my dad's been ill.
Right, so that's fine.
Yeah, it has been very stressful.
Yeah.
He has been diagnosed now and he is getting treatment, so I'm hoping that it will sort of even out.
Okay.
But obviously it's been a bit.
But you're happy now to sort of carry on? You don't want any counselling or extra help with that? Or
I don't know yet.
You don't know, so I can leave that with you, have a little think about it and perhaps come back to me, let me know, because obviously there are things that we can put in place for you.
Yeah.
So have a little think about that and then obviously come back to me, and if you want to take us up on that offer.
Okay.
Alright, okay, so...
That's why we had the holiday, because obviously it's been very, very stressful.
Right, yes.
So it was nice to do something with my family that didn't involve...
Took your mind off it a
Yeah.
bit, okay. So, what are your aspirations? Where do you see yourself in 12 months' time?
I think I would like to be a team leader.
Right.
I know I've got some learning to do with that, but I would really like to, that's my aspiration, is to actually get to that point of being a team leader. Not sure I want to go any higher yet, but I really would like, I think I could be really good at that job.
Okay, right, so what we could look at then is, what we need to do is obviously increase this, but we can look at that because obviously we're kind of sort of, you're going to go and think about what you want to do, if there's any help we can provide you for that. But I think what we need to do is to build a bit of a bridge between you and some of the members of staff. We need to get you interacting a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be a good idea we'll put on some team building days for the team,
mm-hmm.
which I'd like you to be involved with, and also perhaps some shadowing. So if you want to be a team leader, then I think we can get you doing some shadowing with the current team leaders. But we do need to get those targets up. We need to get you from being at the bottom of the team and start getting your targets back up and perhaps a bit above what they were before. And I know you can do it, and obviously now we've recognised, you know, why it's dipped, then obviously we can work with that. So how do you feel about that?
That's fine, but if I'm shadowing, then obviously I'm not meeting my targets because I'm shadowing and I'm not doing the work.
Well,
so
we're going to work
I would worry about that.
Right, but we'll work on the targets first. So perhaps, let's see how your targets increase, or how they look over the next 3 months.
Okay.
And then after 3 months, if they've increased, then we can then start looking at a plan for shadowing. So we could actually have a review in about 3 months' time.
Okay.
And sort of relook at this. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right. Let's see if we've got anything else we've got here. I think everything else is in order. Oh, let me just have a look at this one here. No, I think we've covered everything. Is there anything you'd like to ask me? Is there any questions?
Yeah, obviously I've got this issue with my dad. I mean, how easy would it be maybe to adjust my shifts, because I've got to get him to the, he's got about 2 to 3 months of treatment to go through, and my concern is that I'm going to be on the shifts when he's got to go to hospital. And like I said, I've got no one else who can actually take him.
Right.
And the treatment he's having is going to make him feel quite poorly afterwards.
Right, okay.
You know, it's about how I can take him and pick him up and that sort of thing. How could we temporarily look at that?
Well, I think under the circumstances, I think we could look at sort of a temporary work-life balance for you.
Okay.
And so probably the best thing to do is if you can come back to me with the dates for when you need to go to the hospital with your dad, and sort of the type of, not the type of treatment it's having, but the time that you're looking at, then we could sit down and look at the rotas and work out a shift pattern for you for the next couple of months. How about?
Yeah, I mean, it's just because he'll be in treatment all day, so it's just about me taking him.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's the opposite direction to work, so then I've got to get through the traffic back to work, and then to pick him up at the end of the day because he's having a day treatment.
Okay, we can definitely look at that.
Okay. Obviously, I would like to work it because I don't really want to lose hours because I can't really afford to. So I'd like to work it so maybe even shift swap, so that on those days I'm actually maybe not working or working one of the shorter shifts.
Right, okay. Well, I think we could accommodate that. Like I say, if you can come back to me with all the dates that you're looking at, and then I'll go away, we will have a look at the shifts and see who else is on and see what we can swap, and then we'll have another little meeting and you can have a look, see if that suits you and suits us, and we can come to some sort of agreement.
Okay. And if I'm going for team leader, will that grievance be negative towards me?
No, because that's been done and dusted now, and that was all resolved. So we're moving forward, and I think some of this team building days would help to build that rapport with your staff or with the staff that you work with. Because obviously, if you're going to become a team leader, you need to sort of get them on board, you know. Okay,
but how would it work? Because that person might not want me to manage them.
That's one of the skills you're going to have to learn, isn't it?
Well, no, obviously I've got not an issue with it, but what if they have?
Well, I thought it was all resolved.
Well, it is resolved, but then we're on the same level now, aren't we? If I'm a team leader and she's not,
right?
And she doesn't want me to manage her, how would we resolve that? Because obviously I've got to think, I've not got a problem, but they might have.
But that would be down to you managing that at the time, and we'll put you on training to give you the skills to cope with that. And then obviously we'd have to deal with that if that happens, if it comes about. Okay?
Okay, because it was a real misunderstanding. I don't think it...
Well, as far as I'm aware, when we had, when it was all, when the procedure went through, I think it was all agreed that it was all sorted and everybody was back on an even keel. So I think, I don't think you're going to have any problems with that. And if you do, then we'll have to address that if and when it happens.
Okay, because obviously being sort of outside of the group, as I am, that's not helped.
No, and I think because of that, if we have these team building days, you're then going to get back into a group with the people and start building that rapport back with them. Okay. So I think that's quite important for you and for them, because obviously, that's the whole point, work together. Okay, right.
Okay, thank
so
you.
We'll come back and revisit this again then in 3 months' time.
Yes.
By which time you will have, well, before then you would have hopefully built up your targets and you've got more pickings. And we'll look at your arrangements, your work-life balance with your father. And then obviously in 3 months' time, if your targets have increased, then we can look at putting you forward for the team leader, get you into some programs, some training, and then we can take it from there. Okay.
And will I get all of this in writing?
Yes, of course. Well, what we'll do is we'll fill in your performance review. Once I filled that in, I will get you to read through it, and then if you're happy with that, then we'll get that signed off, and we'll meet again in 3 months' time.
Okay. And you talked about counselling. Is there somebody I can ring?
Yes, I mean we have a system in place, so obviously if that's something you're interested in, I can get the information for you for that. Okay, brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. Right, I shall see you later.
Okay, thank you.